Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to our channel, and thanks for logging on. Today, we're discussing an evocative and versatile diver in my favorite color. It's the Oris Diver Sixty-Five 2016 green dial version, and you can see it and you can own it on our website. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you enjoy these videos, and please click on the card in the upper right-hand corner of this screen at any time during the video to see our full sales listing for this Oris Diver 65 with green dial, with additional accessories included in the sale, high-resolution images for your desktop, and naturally complete pricing details for this Oris Diver 65. Now, this is not an oversized sports watch, so much so that I'm going to zoom in just a little bit more so you can fully appreciate this green dial variant. Now, the Oris Diver 65 rolled out in 2015. 12 months later at Basel World, we started to see colored iterations of the 65 dial, of which this green version has to be considered one of the most versatile and attractive. To the eye, in the light box, in person, it's a sort of gloss British racing green with beautiful ecru-style simulated patina indices, but not cloyingly colored. This is not vintage patina gone mad. It looks nice against the green base with a beautiful domed sapphire to create the look of a vintage plexiglass. But let's talk about the fit and the feel first, because you already know it looks good. So the timepiece is 42 millimeters across the broad of the bezel. If you were to measure it at the case side to side, it would be slightly less than 42, but as it sits across the wrist, edge to edge, at the extremity of the bezel, it is a 42. It's also reasonably slim, 13.4 millimeters, but you can see how much of that loft is due to the curve of that dramatically domed sapphire, so you won't have any trouble sliding this underneath a dress cuff or a suit jacket. If you do want to wear it with formal attire, it is a good match for that aesthetically and physically. From lug to lug, 50.8 millimeters across the wrist, I would say you could wear this watch on a wrist as small as 13.5 to 14 centimeters in circumference. The lower end if your wrist is more oval than round in profile. Now let's take a quick look at what you get for your money. You get a beautiful distressed aged leather. It is a calfskin. It is very thick cut. As you can see, there's a small amount of contrasting stitch, and it is incredibly soft. For leather this thick, you would expect to be as stiff as a board, like a plank of wood on your wrist, but it's wonderfully comfortable. You can see it's fully intact and brand new on the bottom. The aged look is exactly that, a look, but very comfortable, very soft, almost like a well-broken-in catcher's mitt. Simple Oris stainless steel pin buckle for quick on-the-fly adjustments and to keep the vintage aura of the watch intact. Now, there is a little bit of contrast in the finish of the case. It's polished on the flank, and then there's a satin finish on the hoods of the lugs. You'll also note polish on the knurled edge of the bezel. The bezel is an aluminum anodized insert, and unlike a historic diver, this is a true unidirectional rotating bezel, so you can line up the index with the minute hand and have an impromptu 0 to 60 minute timer. Now that crystal, again, it is a sapphire, even if Oris did just nail the look of a 1965 plexiglass. The watch, named Diver 65, is exactly that. It's designed to emulate a classic Oris diving reference from that period, which would have featured thermoplastic, but here you get the charm of thermoplastic and a vintage tritium-style patina without any of the negative consequences. This is scratch resistant in the fashion that sapphire is famous for accomplishing, and then you can see that the indices themselves are not just superluminova, but in a refinement unexpected in a watch of this price range. You'll also see that they are metal appliques to the dial. This is not a printed index dial. It impresses. There's also a frame for the date window at 3 o'clock, and as you can see, a matching coloration of the lume on the hands. It's an easy watch to see in low or no light conditions. The crown, of course, is a screw down, and the watch is suitable for use for perhaps light duty diving. If you're going down to extreme depths, or you're a saturation diver, or you dive for a living, perhaps 100 meters water resistant won't be sufficient for you, but for the rest of us, it will be quite adequate for almost all water sports. Now, it is base Sellita SW200, which is essentially a Sellita equivalent of the ETA 2824, so 4 Hz or 28,800 vibrations per hour, 38-hour power reserve, pull the crown, stop the seconds. It has hacking. It also has a intermediate position for the crown to activate the quick set so you can rapidly cycle the date. The 38-hour power reserve energized by a smooth bidirectional rotor winding action such that you never really hear or feel the rotor on the wrist. With a robust screwed-in case back and the Oris shield blazon, it's a handsome and versatile piece that can be worn, I would say, on male or female wrists, large or small wrists. It has a transcendent kind of style about it, such that if you wear it on a truly huge wrist, it'll just look more vintage than it already does, which in many ways enhances the charm. You can see and you can purchase this neoclassic diver from Oris on our website.